The first round robin matches of the ATP Finals are in the books, and being quite frank, it was very mid. It also doesn't help that two of the three Grand Slam champions in the tournament, Carlos Alcaraz and Daniil Medvedev, are not 100%, whether that be physically or mentally. Hey, I'm Christian Bastnight, and welcome to Christian's Court, where I cover tennis from all angles. If you haven't yet already, make sure you subscribe to the channel and so you join Christian's crew, and also so you're notified whenever I post more ATP Finals related content. On Sunday, Daniil Medvedev and Taylor Fritz commenced singles play at the 2024 ATP Finals in Turin, and it was quite a memorable opener, but not for good reason. The world number 4 Medvedev has been struggling with shoulder issues for much of this season, which has had a clear impact on his serving recently. In his opening round Paris indoor loss to Alexei Popyrin, Medvedev hit 14 double faults, which was the most double faults he'd hit in a match in his career. The double fault woes were present for Medi against Fritz, as the 2020 ATP Finals champion served 2 double faults in a row to hand the American the opening set. Medvedev smashed his racket in anger and frustration, receiving a code violation warning in the process. The second set was pretty competitive until 3-2 when Fritz hit a shank forehand lob winner to break Medvedev. That was really the straw that broke the camel's back, as Medvedev, he first tossed his racket behind the court and whacked a sponsor sign to receive a point penalty. And then he just bizarrely tossed his racket in the air like 20 times, doing so after each point in this 4-2 game. The crowd let Medvedev have it as they were kind of jeering him, and the Russian trolled a bit back, holding his racket upside down to return Taylor's serve before changing it back last minute to hit the return. Medvedev ultimately lost his match 4-3, just under 80 minutes, and he confirmed in his post-match press conference that he pretty much gave up after that Fritz shank at 3-2. Medvedev is known for grinding out guys on the court and winning most of the longer rallies, but Fritz got the better of him in that department on Sunday. When asked if he was surprised by that, Daniil said, "Not at all. The balls make sure that everyone can do it now, so not at all surprised. I have this every day, day in, day out, like since 2-3 years. Every practice is a struggle. Every match is a struggle. I was holding on for a long time. Now I feel zero pleasure of being on the court. So no surprise at all about the match today." Really quick about that balls comment. Pause. Medvedev has been outspoken against the tennis balls that the tour has used in the past few years. In 2023, he said the Australian Open balls contributed to his wrist injury at that year's slam. At last year's China Open, he called the balls a joke. And then last month in Shanghai, he complained to the tournament supervisor that the balls were not good enough for professional tennis because they lost all pressure and felt after 5 games. Medvedev also did a recent interview with Sonia Tartakova for Bolshoi Tennis, and he shared an interesting theory that during COVID, tennis ball manufacturers had supply chain issues and had to search for other options outside of China. Dino basically said that since COVID, the balls are not as high quality. Alexander Zverev basically said the same thing in his press conference on Monday, that the quality of the balls declined after COVID. Now, jumping back to Medvedev's press conference statements, he got candid when he was asked if he was ready for the season to be over. 100%, he said. "It's the first time I say it. Usually the ATP Finals are not easy for me, but I always fight. As I said, for a long time, I've been fighting with something that doesn't depend on myself. I'm a good fighter. I'm still number 4 in the world, maybe 5 if Taylor plays very good here. Still pretty decent. I'm sure a lot of guys would like to be number 4 in the world. But now I'm tired to fight it. I'm tired to fight against something that doesn't depend on myself. I'll see how it goes. Today I actually had chances. I'll have them in the next matches. If it doesn't work out, I go on holiday. I'm happy." I love how Daniil always keeps it real, because it is evident that he has not been really enjoying himself on the court. I mentioned him struggling with that shoulder problem for much of the season, but I think Alcaraz and Sinner definitely contributed to more of his struggles, and I think they're part of the reason why he has been titleless for now over a year. That Australian Open Finals loss Daniil suffered to Sinner after being up 2-0 hurt. It definitely will hurt him. And I also think that loss triggered some PTSD from being 2-0 up over Nadal at the 2022 Australian Open in the championship. Then Sinner beat him at the US Open in the quarterfinals, while Alcaraz sent him packing at the Wimbledon semifinals. Daniil is just 28 years old, so I do believe he has a few good years left in him, and I do believe that he can win at least one more major, but him saying that he's kind of lost all pleasure in playing tennis right now, it's not a great sign. And I feel like you can't really win big titles unless you're enjoying the journey, unless you're enjoying the process. And Daniil is not enjoying it at all. That's why part of the reason why he's not having success. And, I think he has a legit argument in pointing to the balls and how he's kind of had a tough time at it with the change in the quality of the balls. As he said, he is a fighter, so he's going to continue to persist and try to fight through it and still once again win slams. But I just feel like right now it's going to be an uphill battle for him, especially with the likes of, like I said, Sinner and Alcaraz just getting better and better, it seems like. Now, speaking of Sinner, Yannick also joined his Ilie Nastase group mate Taylor Fritz in opening with a straight sets win. He beat Alex de Minaur 6-3, 6-4. By the way, the ATP naming a group after Nastase, who is a pretty ignorant and bigoted man, is definitely a choice. Anyways, on Monday, Carlos Alcaraz and Casper Ruud kicked off play for the John Newcomb group. Carlitos was a massive overwhelming favorite here because he held a 4-0 record over the Norwegian heading into this match. Plus, Casper has not been in good form since the clay season, really. The 7th seed had lost his last 8 of 9 matches, and he had not beaten a top 40 player since the Olympics. He ended that streak, though, defeating Alcaraz 6-1, 7-5 in just under an hour and a half. Casper did play better here than he did in the past few months. His serve was a strong weapon, and overall, he was solid from the ground. But much of this match was about Alcaraz beating himself with unforced errors. The match it could have been closer than that 1-5 scoreline, as Alcaraz, he had 2 break points in the opening game of the match. I feel like that could have changed a lot if he had cashed in on one of those break chances. Carlitos improved his level for the second set, and that helped him get to a 5-2 lead, but he lost his focus a bit, and that enabled Ruud to claim the final 5 games of the match. Alcaraz really did not look well at all in this match, and he appeared to be under the weather, kind of coughing, burying his face in his towel at times, and also grabbing at his stomach. It seemingly was common knowledge that Alcaraz had been sick in Turin from his coughing and sneezing every so often, and he told the media after this Ruud loss that he caught something a few days before arriving in Italy, but he still felt well enough to play. However, he underestimated the physical toll that came with actual match play, and it didn't help that he had a stomach issue the morning of this match. Alcaraz also went on to say that he is tired mentally from the rigors of the tour, but he feels like he is managing his fatigue better than he did last season. Up next for Ruud is Alexander Zverev, who earned a very clean 6-4, 6-4 win over Andrei Rublev. This was very much expected, with Zverev first leading the head-to-head 6-3 coming into this match. Plus, he was on a high just winning the Paris Masters. And then Rublev, meanwhile, he was kind of low on confidence, riding a 4-match losing streak. So once again, I was not really expecting him to get the upset here. In this video, kind of being candid if I may, I know it is very early into the tournament and we're only 1 round into these finals, but this year's year-end championships in Turin honestly are boring to me, and I don't think that it honestly will be that much more exciting as the tournament progresses, to be honest. It is the first time since 2001 that none of the big 3, Federer, Nadal, or Djokovic, are playing in the year-end championships, and Novak not being here, it definitely, I think, brings a void. You cannot deny it. It does not feel like the ATP Finals without the 7-time champion. Even the group photo was a little bit stale. I know that some people might not be thinking of him, but I feel like Holger Rune would have brought a lot more excitement to the tournament if he qualified. I also think Jack Draper, Ben Shelton, Arthur Fils, even Ugo Humbert would have really elevated the entertainment level of these finals, but hopefully some of them will qualify next year. 2025, I feel, will be a very interesting year for the ATP. Alcaraz and Sinner, they won all the majors this year, but can anyone really step up to the plate and challenge them? Novak did say that he's planning on playing more tournaments next season, but honestly, he probably has only a few great years left in him. Some of the younger guns, like I mentioned before, like Rune, Draper, Shelton, Fils, I think they really need to step up to the plate and do something, because the tour needs more fresh faces to take home these big titles instead of just Sinner and Alcaraz running amok and taking them all. That is all I have from my first 2024 ATP Finals video, and let me know your thoughts on the finals thus far. Have you been entertained? Do you disagree with me and believe that the finals has been entertaining? Let me know in the comments. Also, do you think that Alcaraz and Medvedev can somehow bounce back and even make the knockout stages in their groups? Again, make sure you subscribe and click that notification bell so you're notified whenever I post more updates throughout the finals in Turin as the tournament progresses. Thank you all so much for watching and for your support, and I'll see y'all next time here on Christian's Court.